in there, I can see them. And I'll just click on my word students because you guys can see where it says classmates. And the only reason you have classmates is because I opened it up because we're big kids and we can actually talk to one another without being mean. So click on the word classmates and you can see who's now in your classroom. Right, so I had those few individuals before you, and if they're no longer a part of my class, I just block them and they can no longer comment or things to my classroom. So it's pretty cool. I know, right? You weren't in here. They were in the first one. So it's really cool. This is a really great way for them to... No, don't be mean to James. He was awesome. He said nice things to me. This is so they can actually say, okay, if they're collaborating, they can collaborate this way. And it works out. But typically, I don't let them do that. They do that through shared Google document. Once you create a classroom, it makes a folder for you and puts it into your Google Drive. They'll never use that folder. It ate my stuff once. Chris Bird used it, and it just messed everything up. So we don't use it. You don't need to. It creates a folder in Google Drive, but you don't need to use it. Mine is unsafe. Everything stays in your Google Cloud. It doesn't go anywhere. When a student submits something, I get it immediately. So if you'll go back to the stream and find that question that I put in for you. So you have to scroll down the page and you'll find it. Keep going. There you go. And then click on that question. And put in whatever you know. Tracy talks too much. I really do believe I'm the queen of my classroom. And you can see what everyone else said. And then you just click the word submit and you're done. That's a great way to get that first 5 done without the students driving you insane, saying, what am I I didn't get it. I didn't get the question. Yes, you did. It's in Google. I saw you. I can see you. And then I'll get a notification that tells me who's answering my question and how many have been submitted.
I was checking to see if it had spell check on it.
It will fix it.
Yeah.
It will tell you, that's wrong.
Which is great, because
yeah.
kids can't spell.
Isn't that something?
Well, I can't either. I'm a math teacher, so.
You know, I don't do math. I'm like, that's too many numbers, too many. Back it up. Talk to you about population all day, but I don't want to. Don't ask me where the X is and why they left. I don't care. I'm that girl that said, how can I get out of math? And I did. I got. Thank God back then you only needed 1 grade. Yay, look at that. I've got 10 new comments. And so when I click on that, it takes me to this window here. Because you're as a student, you won't see it. So this is what it looks like when the teacher gets it. So what I'll do is I'll click on the work. I'll click on the done, and it tells me who did work. I can say see students' answers. And it gives me all of their answers. This is where I grade it, and I don't have to carry around those stacks and stacks of papers. I don't. It's wonderful. And then I can't make excuses either. I have to grade the work because they're waiting for it. They get a notification as soon as I grade something they've done, they get notified. So if I don't grade it, it says not viewed, and until I view it and grade it, they'll know. Ms. Roberson, you didn't grade my essential question. You wrote 2 words. That's not a paragraph. Nice try. Go back and do it again. And so they can't ever say, Mom, I didn't have homework. Because there's another nice thing about this. I can invite my parents to my classroom. So they know when Sally gets that assignment, they see it. They get the same notification that their student gets. And they can't say, I didn't have homework. Ms. Roberson never gives us homework. She did. It's in your Google Classroom. I saw it. I have a student who is having surgery this coming week, so he's going to be gone for 3 weeks. He says, what do? I said, go to Google Classroom. Their textbook that we have at Tomlinson for social studies is in my Google Classroom. They actually have an app for it too, so anything I want to put in there. All of my class notes he will get. He will get all of the assignments, and they'll all be digital, and he'll do them, and I'll get them immediately. He misses nothing. And I can even Google Hangout with him so he can see the classroom, which is really cool. So Google Classroom is an amazing thing. So I can go back. Let me go back and tell you.
Under normal circumstances, the kids don't get to take the devices out.
No. Now, my grandchildren, I know, right, go to school in Burke Burnett. And they are one-to-one iPad and have been for going on 4 years now. And they bring theirs home
Right,
to include the kindergartners.
right.
And I think I paid for a charging cable. That's all I've ever had to pay for. Because my granddaughter says, I don't know what I did with it, I don't know. Well, we've got 12. Here's a new one. Here's money. Go buy it. So now she's good. But not one kid. And Burke Burnett was wonderful. The town went wireless.
Right.
So everywhere you go in Burke Burnett, there's Wi-Fi everywhere you go. Which,
So you don't have to pay for it?
well, at your house you do, but you don't have to because you can go sit at Sonic and
Oh, so all the businesses are...
all the businesses are Wi-Fi, so that students, no matter where they're at, can still access their work and they're not missing
They don't have it at
anything.
home, they can walk down to the corner store.
Exactly, and it makes it so much easier for them to be able to go and do that because
Library does. Which is one of the reasons against LPS even sending them home is because 80% of them, once they got home, wouldn't be able to
use it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
Your parents are able to see the classroom, can they see the responses that their kids have given?
Only if I share it with them. All they're going to see is that notification that there's a new assignment. They'll see what the assignment is and whatever description I've given it, they see that. If they want the work, they have to request it. And I did have a parent say, I would like to see my daughter's presentation on the Ukraine. And I said, sure. And she did a keynote on it, and I shared it with him. And so he was able to look at her keynote and see it. And so that was really a great way for him to be involved. TLE wants you to have, contact with all stakeholders and keep them engaged and involved. And this is a good way to do it, is with your Google Classroom. And so I just take that email list that I have, print it out, or save it on my cloud in my Google Drive, and put it in my TLE. And there's my documentation showing that I'm in contact with all stakeholders. So it's pretty cool. So there's another one in here. It says to turn in one paragraph about how excited you are to be here. So, of course, my spelling is horrible today. So if you click on that, if you go back to your stream, you just do the back arrow up there, right here in the line, the red line. It'll take you back to the stream, and you'll find the next. Scroll down, and you'll see it. It says turn in one. And so what you're going to do, go up one. And click on that, where it says you can click on the link, and it's going to say there's your assignment. So you're going to create. So if you click on the word create, it'll ask you what do you want to create, and it'll open up a Google Doc for you. And then they can type their answer in there. They create a Google Doc, and it's done. Or they can add, because you've already done one. So you click the word add, and you pull that out, and you stick it in there. And no matter what, everything that they do saves automatically. It saves every 2 minutes. Just automatically will continuously save.
What do I want to do here?
So you can either create a document, or you can click on add and add a document. So you can go to, when you click Drive, it'll take you to Google Drive, and you may or may not have anything in there. So you just click that PDF right there and add that. Scroll down. And go up one more. There it is. And click that. Look at her teaching. Go for it, girl. And you just check. It's on the screen, yes, ma'am. He got away from me. So, scroll. Up. It's up. It's this. No, too far. Right there. So click that.
Oh, okay.
And then it's going to, so you've got one here already. So you're done. But you can always take it out. And if you wanted to do something new, you could unsubmit it. And a lot of my kids sometimes will have to do that because they don't like what they put, or they answered the wrong question. And so they can do that again. And so you just click it and you type something new, and then you're good. So you can actually unsubmit your work and then click Turn In. And then if you don't like what you did, you can unsubmit it. You know, I didn't mean to say that, and you can unsubmit it.
Or after you say 2 words isn't enough.
Yes, they can go back, unsubmit it, and try again. Because they'll type me one sentence, and I say, no, it says a paragraph. And I always ask, how many sentences are in a paragraph? 5 to 7. How many sentences did you write? 1. Keep adding. Your math is good. You got it. Go for it. And I don't even teach math.
So what do you teach?
I teach world studies, Eastern Hemisphere. So we're getting ready to go to Africa. My hallway will look like Africa next week. I'm excited. So, and I actually use this with my team of teachers too. I'm the 7th grade team leader this year because Mr. Williams is crazy. And I was like, you put me in charge of what? Why? You know I have a bad mouth. And I don't know how I got this job. Yes, I do, because I told him I was going to be a lawyer, and he said, no, you're not. That's how I got the job. So if I'm gone, because he keeps sending me to do something else, I put comments into my teachers. I add something for them to comment on. If the calendar changes, I put the calendar in there, and they can go in and say, okay, I've seen it, and I know they saw it because it sends me a notification. They can't say, I didn't know, Ms. Roberson. No, nobody told me. But I have a great team of teachers this year. I don't want to quit my job. They made me so happy. Last year was a different story. We were all like, yeah, no, we're not coming back. None of us, no. Now the 8th grade teachers are going, we're not coming back. The 8th graders.
I have a friend over there.
Who's that?
Hannah.
Yeah. She said, She said, I don't know what else to do.
It was just such a shock.
It was, yeah, I think so. And
She went into teaching thinking that everyone was going to love learning just like she did.
And that group of students she had was rough. That was a rough year, and I tried to give her as many hugs as I could. It was her first year.
And she was alternatively certified, never been in a classroom.
And we had just started doing lead. Yikes. So it was crazy. That building was crazy it's been crazy for the last 3 years. So
She's doing well down in the West.
good. I wondered about her. I liked her.
Yeah, that's
I love what I do. I love Google. Everything I do is in Google. It's really easy to create a classroom. Once you log in you get logged in, you just create your own classroom. It gives you the class code, and then I just write it. I have them posted all over my room so the kids can't say I don't know it. It's there. They log in with that. Your classroom is done. And I have 6 classrooms. Now 7 because of the STEMply, but I'll get rid of it later. And I can archive whatever I want, and none of that work goes away. I have a student at Lawton High who did a presentation on the Ukraine, and she emailed me and said, Ms. Roberson, can I have that presentation back? I want to use it. I said, sure. So go to my archive classes and send it back to her, and she now can use that document again. It's really a good way to stay connected and have your students have immediate feedback, because you can grade while they're working. Once they turn something in, you can put a grade on it, and it goes and send it right back to them. And they get that response immediately, and they're like, oh, yeah, I nailed it this time. And I like when they go, oh. Now, what's really cool is if you click on the word about in the classroom, you're done. You can close that. It's there. Go back.
How do you submit it?
It's already done.
It's already done?
You created it in that question. So you could just go back to the classroom, and you're good. So go right here to click on the tab, which says and then turn in. Turn in. And you're done.
It automatically attaches it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
I mean, I've looked into it for over a year. I can't wait. I'm excited.
I'm super excited because we just got our Chromebook, so I'm really excited.
So we're also going to be getting Chromebooks for everyone, or what?
That's not at this time, but that is the plan, is to eventually go that
Do they have
route.
a time frame?
I don't know the time. They don't tell me everything. And mostly I'm like this.
It's working its way.
It's working. It is, and Tomlinson is
I got
just.
mine with separate funds, so I'm getting
Yeah,
mine now.
that's awesome.
Well, I know some teachers at my school have them.
It's so.
Starting
The
it.
kids are testing this week, I mean, we all love testing so much. This is why we took this job for state tests.
But it's nice to get.
But it's nice for them to be sitting in the classroom with that Chromebook and working. Because we tried it, we were going to try it with iPads, but we were like, yeah, no, let's just go Chromebook. So it's been, I mean, I'm right there. I don't have to leave my room and go somewhere where it's 900 degrees because I'm 50 now and I'm always hot. I don't like that.
What do your math students do? I mean, how do they work equations on these and submit it, or do they?
They do.
Yes, they do, and it's
Oh, yeah.
fabulous.
Do they show the work and
Yeah.
so they can?
Oh,
try it
yeah.
out?
Yeah. At all of my tests, my quizzes, I do in Google Forms and put them in the classroom. And then I use an extension called Flubaroo, and I set it to grade automatically. And once they submit their answers, it automatically grades it, and I'm done. I will.
How do you get to that floor?
I'll have to show you. I wish I had an InFocus so I could show you how it really works. I know that's weird. That's strange to me, but okay. I don't know. So I wish I could show you so you could all see me do it because they just took a quiz for me that I just graded. I mean, I'm like, oh, you're done? You're done? It's wonderful. I don't have to sit there and go, okay. Like, no Scantrons. We ordered Scantrons this year, and I haven't used one.
Yeah, we'd still have to go back and look at the why for mathematics.
Yes,
why
you would
they
have-
did it,
yes.
but we'd at least have an immediate.
You could
grade.
you could still give an immediate grade and immediate response. And in Google
Can
Forms,
you go back and adjust the grade
You-
for your IEP kids
yeah,
based on whatever you
I
want?
sure
Okay.
can. And it's a great way to differentiate too, because I can put in just for those students a separate question and nobody else sees it.
Because see, I've used clickers and I like
I
the fact
love-
that
isn't
you
that-
can, because you can go back in and adjust the grades on clickers. So I just want to.
And you
make
get
sure
your data.
Yeah.
This does the data for you. I don't have to sit down and try to figure out the data. It just does it, and I print it out and say, here, put it in
Take
my
it to
data
Calvary,
book.
give 'em a
Here you
data.
go. I have my data.
Why did you work?
They're
so
like,
hard?
Tracey did data. I did. Like, it's colorful. It's got pie charts and graphs. It's wonderful. I don't ever have to. It's wonderful. Yeah. I'll email you whatever I can. That's all my email and Twitter.
I hate my job.
I'm sorry. My tech.
My
okay.
job's a lot of
I'm
work.
sorry. All right, so go back to your stream. If you'll click that, and for those of you
That
that
easy.
click on the word about. So click on the word about. My students always say, Miss Roberson, you talk too fast, or I didn't get those notes. And I say, okay, I get it. You missed out because you weren't listening. That's cool. Click on the word about, and they go, about. Oh. So do you see where it says Southeast Asia lecture notes? That is right out of their textbook. So everything that I've talked about is in a Google Slides presentation for them. They cannot say, you didn't talk about that. You know, no, I don't have to because you can talk to yourself about it. Because it's right there for you. Get to work. And they're like, God, she gets me every time, and you're welcome. So for my student who's having surgery, when I put in his first Africa stuff for him, it will be there. He's at home. He can do the work and know exactly where I'm at. And it's wonderful. I take my quizzes. My textbook is digital.
See, if we could get this
It's brand new.
just as live, then we could be our own bridge
Yes.
teachers.
Yes.
They could still have
Yes.
our assignments and just be over there. Somebody watching
Yes,
them.
exactly. And for my students that are at Bridge, because I have a couple, that's what they do. I tell them, hey, Norm,
Do you
tell them to
have
go. In
take their iPads?
They have.
there,
They're
or
on.
have
They're
their
on
own?
computers.
Okay.
They're in cubicles. So
Right.
get on your computer. Go to Miss Roberson's classroom. They're already assigned in it. I haven't pulled any of them out, so they can still get in there and get the work.
So they have computers over for
Mhm.
each one of the guys?
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
Okay.
if
Yeah,
you're
they-
not connected to be able to do this, then what they do is they have
They-
software that has
all
all
of
of the
the-
state standards.
yes.
And you just send them standards now, and they log in the standards, and it creates lessons. They're not the exact same
Yeah.
lessons you did.
But it creates. Yes, at Bridge. So that
So
it's
I
already.
don't remember the name of the software.
Why haven't they?
I
told
forgot.
us computers since then?
Levine told me that.
They told
Yeah.
all of they told every building that should have been disseminated from somebody to do.
Well, they
Well,
know they
Mr.
should
Levine
be
came over
working
to
on
us and said, hey, this is what we're using over here. And I'm like, cool, thanks. So I don't have to send you anything. This is where I put, in the About section is where I put my syllabus. So they have the syllabus all the time. It's where I post my class rules that they I need you to sign for that, and I can attach a sign card to that. They sign for it, and their parents sign for it, and then you can't say, I didn't know. That rule number 2 says no gum. Not to mention it's posted on the wall, and it's ginormous. No gum. I have a thing I do for shoes and gum. Too many pairs of shoes and no gum. Makes me insane. I don't know why. I don't. But that's where I put everything. No, I do, because I come to work with about 3 pairs, just in case I need to change and put on a different pair, because I have an obsession with shoes. I do. I
I'm wondering how often the shoes just
do.
in.
And they do that. I have a few that they come, and I'm like,
Basics.
why do you have 2 different shoes on right now? Oh, I brought all my shoes with me. You're weird, but okay, you're in the 7th grade.
They're all weird.
But that's where I put all of my lecture notes. For my team of teachers, it's where I put my calendar, where we put Mr. Williams' weekly updates go in there, so they always have access to it, and nobody can say I didn't know. And yes,
Did you put this folder in here, or is this the one you said was generated?
that is the one that is generated. Where don't use that folder. You see on the About section, there's a folder there. Don't ever use that. That thing will. I don't know why. I don't know what the glitch is, but it will eat your work. Other than that, nothing goes away.
And now when they open their Google Calendar, all of their due dates are there. correct?
All their due dates are there for them. I actually have, I was using Google Sites, and I was like, okay, this is too much work for me. So I have a separate one for my cheerleaders, because I coach cheer at Tomlinson too. So all of their cheer stuff is in there. So you go to your cheer classroom and find out what you're doing for the next few days. And then I'm a Remind guru, and I love Remind as well, and Nearpod, and I have issues.
And see, like, I do.
I can admit it.
Math league, but this time of year, I'm constantly having to cancel for this meeting and that meeting,
Right.
and this meeting and that meeting.
Right.
If I had a math league Google Classroom, even if I canceled, I could still give them something that they
Exactly.
can work on.
That they would be able to work
Yeah.
on. So if you go back in your stream, it's going to show you there's a plus sign on your page. Do you see the big plus sign at the bottom? So if you click on that, you can create a post. And now this, my students cannot do. I have it turned off because I don't want them bullying each other through Google Classroom.
Is it on for like your cheerleading group?
It is.
Okay. 'cause
It
that's
is
what I
on
was
for
thinking
them.
I'd leave it on for my math league, but not
Yes,
class.
it's on for them. So they can actually create a post. So they can write something in there that tells me, Ms. Roberson, I have a question about this. They may not want to ask the question out loud. This is a way they can do it without having to stand up. I have one kid that I've not heard his voice yet, but he participates
Why
in
do we
class.
always have
I
all-
don't know. Where do they come
I was just in a
from?
classroom that they had one, and I've got one.
He never, and I had his brother. He didn't say a word either. And I call on him and he goes, or he would go, okay. And I look, and there it
For 2
is.
years, and he said 3 words, and
And I got
every
nothing.
time I just nearly hit the floor. I could.
Nothing.
Yeah, I said yes. I was like, there was no way I was going to tell the kid no. He spoke.
He spoke. You said it out loud. So you can actually create a post in there and say something nice about your neighbor.
Any other kid comment?
It's amazing. It is really, when I get that kid that's not going to participate and they do this, I'm like, go ahead. I had one, this poor kid was just, he nothing, came to us, did nothing. He wasn't going to do anything until I told them they were making board games and that he could create a digital board game. His eyes got this big, and he sat up straight in his chair, and he talked, there is a group project, so he turned to the other boys and he goes, I have an idea. And I just stood there going, he has an idea. And he starts working, so I was like this. I start videos because I wanted people to see. He's really working and was so excited, and their game was awesome. And they created a digital board game that kids could play in the classroom. Because sometimes I just don't want to, we don't sit. I don't have desks. We have tables, these tables, as a matter of fact, and they get up and move. He talks and he's working. Yay!
I kept going there all the time.
I went to teaming that afternoon, and I was like, and then he said, and they were like, are you really crying? I was like, but it was amazing. And then they took him away from me, and I don't know where he's at now. He's gone. I was like, you took my baby. He was awesome. He was actually working. He was, broke my heart. So if I'm not if my iPad's not open to Classroom, and you put something into the Classroom, it shows up on my iPad. or it shows up on my computer. And just, Casey made a comment. And I'm like, oh, what did she say? Okay. Well, that was nice of you. Thank you. I know I'm beautiful. You're welcome. But they'll do that. And for those kids that just don't want to don't call on me, Miss Roberson. I don't want to stand at. This is how they can do it. And I love it. They did presentations over all of Asia. And I said, whatever format you want. You do whatever you want to do. You can make a poplet. You can make a book, whatever. iMovie, whatever. I got some of the best work I've ever gotten. And I was like, I will never make you write another essay if you keep doing work like this. One was animated with voiceover. I was like, Mom, do you see this? I went to my mom and dad's house. I was like, look at what my kids can do. I didn't even know they could do this. This is the best work ever. She was like, are you going to cry? Yes. Can I have attention? Every day. And it was so much fun. I stopped her presentation. I said, stop. Go get your principal right now. Go get your principal and your counselor and go get Mr. White. Come back in here. And they came in and sat down. I said, no, go. And she started over and they were like, this is what happens when you give them control. So really, and the Google Classroom is also another way for them to run the classroom. I just prompt them and they go with it. And I can keep moving. So for those kids that need that one-on-one, I can go sit with them and work with them while my kids who can do it on their own are actually busy. So I love it. Google Classroom is a lifesaver. I can print out grades from Google Classroom and put them in my little data book, my collaboration book, and I can print out all of the charts and graphs, the data from it as well, and show how interactive my kids are in that classroom. And it keeps them from saying, I didn't get work. You never gave that to me. The only kids that are not affected are the ones that go to ISSP. They won't get anything. I print that for them. And then I do have 2 students who are not allowed any technology, so I have to print work for them. Other than that, I don't print it. Yes, I don't print anything. They bring me paper, and I take it to the media center and say, here you go, Miss Marshall. I brought you boxes of paper again, because I don't have to print anything.
She's saying, what do I do with all this?
We are papered out in that school because Eisenhower needs paper. I'll just come over and pick it up out of my classroom because I'm like, here, make paper airplanes. I don't know what to do with it. I don't print. The only things I print are my charts, my graphs, even my maps. I can put my interactive maps in my classroom and they can work with their maps in the classroom. Yeah. Of course, you always got to have that backup because technology can be flighty sometimes. So they can go and do paper. But whatever they have done in Google is always going to be in Google. It will never go away. Once these kids leave me at the end of the year, I will archive my classrooms. I don't lose those assignments I put in. They're still there. So
You know where mine are? Boxes in the basement. Because
Yes.
I refuse to throw
Yes.
them out
Yes.
because I have special ed kids. And I keep them just like a tax document
Yes.
for a certain year.
I put on them over years.
So
They're there.
every year I get a new one. I box it all up. I stick it down in the basement where nobody knows where it is. And then
Yeah.
I take another one and I send it to the shredder.
That's how I do it. I do. I
I'm always
do.
afraid some kid's going to come back and they're going to say, I don't know what they're going to say, but they're going to take me to court for it. And
Exactly.
I'm like,
Nope.
here he is,
It's
right
right here. This box number 722. I got him. It's right here. I do. Because
I'm not kidding.
Google is a cloud-based product, so everything is stored in the cloud. But I do have my backups because when I first started at Tomlinson, I had no technology, not even an overhead projector. It was me and a whiteboard. It's a good thing I have nice handwriting because we wrote a lot. And I said, I can't do this. This is not me. I don't want to do this. I want them to move and do stuff. So I went and borrowed some stuff from people and brought my own stuff from home, and we made a movie one year all about ancient Egypt. And it was hilarious. But that was the first test they passed, and they didn't need notes to pass it. They just, because it was funny and they remembered it and they did it. And after that, they filled my room up with every bit of technology they could find. And I've just been, Vanessa Perez is amazing. She started this. She started us on the Google road, and I can't even thank her enough because it's a lifesaver. So if you want your classroom to get real efficient, or you want your meetings to get real efficient, Google Classroom is a way to do it, and it really, really will help you stay on top. My daughter is in her kids' Google Classrooms so she can see what her children are saying. No, Mom, Mrs. Lehman did not give me any English homework. Alexandria? I'm looking at it. Oh, I forgot about, she's in the 8th grade. Oh, I forgot. No, you didn't.
Set a reminder.
Yeah. So that's what we did to her. I'm super proud of that kid. She's one of those kids that can do anything. So she could wait till, the hour before the class and actually come up with an essay that's amazing. I don't like her. She's got all the talent and all the skill. She's an honors kid who just made high school dance, and I can't even believe that comes out of my mouth that I have a granddaughter in high school. It's freaky. So what are your questions about Google Classroom? Because it's really cool, kind of a cool thing.
Well, I teach kindergarten. So
Yay!
I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to
Well,
tailor
see?
it to.
And that it's gonna be your creativity. Mm-hmm. It's really gonna be up to you. My grandson, who's now in the 2nd grade, and where's my math teachers? Yeah, he's a math genius. He says, "Can I just go to a math school?" Yes, you can. You can go to a math school because you're brilliant. I bring him to Tomlinson sometimes, and he'll stand there at the board and just do math. And they're going, I can't even do that. And he's just that brainetics. It's like that, but he's never done that. He's that smart. He was in Google Classroom in kindergarten. So his teacher put some really cool stuff in there for them to do, puzzles and things like that. It's just going to be your creativity. There's no limit. Yes. You can differentiate. You can do the extensions. It's so neat. And all the extensions that come in that Google product are amazing. And the more you get in there, and the best way to learn it is just to do it. So if you want to create your own classroom, we can do that.
My daughter's pre-K, kindergarten.
Because you can sign out of my classroom and, yes, ma'am. Oh, look what it did. Gotta love these old things. I don't know why. This is Army product right here.
Google kindergarten Google Classroom, and it came up with 14,800,000.
Yeah.
Isn't that
You can
awesome?
probably find quite a
You
few
can probably.
Some of them
I don't know why it's doing
I
that.
did it
It's the
earlier, and it
system.
on there because it's
So
a
just
blog
hit,
site.
like, log me off. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it
How
did.
do I do that?
It's frozen. It's not even moving.
Escape, what?
You probably have to go to a different one.
Do I turn it?
Nope, just leave it. I wouldn't even turn it off. Let them do it.
And you create each hour.
I create each hour because you don't have to, but I only teach one prep. So since I only teach geography, I create 5 classrooms. That way,
How do I sign out of your classroom?
Okay, click on your name, and then sign up. And then you can log back in and create your own classroom.
So you're not really walking around the classroom kind of just overseeing?
Oh yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Just Overwatch. Oh gosh. Came back to mine. Go back and sign out again. Thank you. We got it. Hopefully it won't take you back in there. You can close that document. Okay, close that one. All right, now go back into Drive. Scroll up. More. Drive is way up there. Where'd you go, Dylan? It's not that far. There it is. You want that one. I know, right? I never use the touchscreen on my computer. Is that weird? I do have my school iPad, my cell phone, my iPhone, and my other iPad, my personal one, all in my classroom at the same time, and they're all going at the same time, and I'm walking. And this one is attached to me because my kiddos like to say, Miss Roberson, I'm doing my work. This is Apple Classroom. Oh, gosh. Okay. We might have to shut it all the way down and create new. But I can click on their screen and see exactly what they're doing. And if when they first come into the room, because our kids are one-to-one and they carry them everywhere they go, I want them to do their bell work. I click on all students. I click on open an app. I put them in Google Classroom, and they're in Google Classroom. They cannot change it. So then you're going to change your status to teacher. And it's going to give you that oops sign again. I don't know why. We were working on it. Chris Bird was working on it, trying to fix it so you guys could do that, because your Google is your LPS.
Do the kids have their LPS?
Tomlinson has a domain, but for all the other kids, their login, their email address that's in Infinite Campus, that is their login.
You know, one of the big objections we have is
How about if I unenroll?
Unenroll, yeah. You can unenroll from mine.
that kids would be on the internet doing whatever they want.
Well, and we had that issue when we first started that. When we first started, we found over hundreds of movie sites, and we were like, yeah, no. So we've had to go in and block all of those, and the Media Center found a way to do that, and for the most part, we have blocked everything that they can't. Yes, yeah. It is such. Yes, I'm on. I know what you're doing. I can see you. That's why Apple Classroom is so amazing for us as well, because we can see what they're doing on their iPad. I can take them out of it. I can lock their iPad. Now you can't do anything, and it tells them your teacher has locked your iPad. They know as soon as they see that Miss Roberson's coming, and I do this. I don't even have to talk to you. You know what I want. As soon as the door opens, I go. You're welcome.
Well, there's the app.
There's Flubaroo.
And I'm kind of crazy because, when Suki blocks all that stuff and the kid hacks around it, I get excited.
Yeah, no, you're like, ooh.
I'm like, don't ever do that again. That's really cool.
Don't ever do that. So Flubaroo works with Google Forms, and it's so cool. It's because I don't have to do a whole lot of work. Let's go to my classroom here.
I don't really know what I'm teaching next year,
So my kids took a test over East and Southeast Asia. So I put it into Google Classroom for them, and they get this notification that tells them you have a test. So once they open that, they can do the test. And I can click on student work, and this shows me all of the students that have done the work. And what's great about this is that the grades are already there for me. I don't have to go in there and try to grade these by hand or on a Scantron. I just put them in, and then I can check all these off and return them. Yep, and we're there.